Good morning, I'm Edward Armitage and I run Jam on the Marsh, an annual multi-arts festival that runs across the Romney Marsh. Welcome to our long-awaited Industry Day. I'm just going to embarrass someone briefly and go off script, and it's just so lovely to see Sharon Rennie joining us from Ayrshire, who was part of the very first people involved with setting up the whole film element of Jam on the Marsh, and it's a joy to see you, Sharon. Thanks so much for joining us. It's wonderful to have you all with us today from around the UK, but I'm sorry that we're meeting in this strange virtual way rather than at Cinemarsh in New Romney to watch these wonderful films. Can I just say that we are recording this Industry Day for archive purposes. So if you don't want to be seen in this, please turn off your cameras. So before we get to the films, I'd like to say a big thank you to Screen South for battling on with this short film project against all the COVID odds. Whilst the virtual way is not the perfect way, it's better than no way. I'd also like to thank Fifth Continent for supporting this project and enabling it to happen, even though the delivery has changed so much. Thank you to everyone who came to our masterclasses at the start of the year, and especially to those who have persevered with their films and delivered them for judging. This is no mean feat, and you should all be applauded for your work. I'm really proud that this collaboration between us organisers and you creatives has produced such a fine body of work. The purpose of this short film project was always to nurture and to enable community. And having watched all the submitted films, I really believe that we've achieved exactly this, and we should all be really proud of this achievement. This is the first year that we've had a film element in Jam on the Marsh, and all at Jam are looking forward to the opening of Cinemarsh next year, fingers crossed, once we can get through this COVID situation. And we wish our friends and colleagues there well with their endeavour. I think they've had such a tough time, you know, setting up a small cinema at this time in this environment must have been heartbreaking for it then to not actually be able to open. And I really very passionately feel that it's a great thing for New Romney. Really hope that you know, can get that up and running. We can't wait for the COVID threat to reduce so that we can all be in a safe position to run a planned short film project again next year. And finally, before I hand over to Joe Nolan of Screen South, I'd like to thank our wonderful masterclass leaders and judges for all the time and vision that they've had. So thank you. And so, Joe, I'll pass over to you.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to what actually, Ed, is the first Jam on the Marsh Film Festival. And it's lovely to see Sharon and Sarah. Thank you, Sarah, for all your hard work pulling all this together. Because even though it's online, all the legs are paddling very quickly behind to make sure that we have a really lovely morning this morning, which is our Industry Day for the festival. And I do remember back in May saying, oh yeah, let's just move it to October, it'll all be sorted out by then. I know, on the day where so many people are waking up this morning thinking we're going into another lockdown. I mean, so who knew? But thank you guys, it's been really good working with you. And what's been nice is just, I think it's really good that people have gone out and made these films. I mean, really, just to make the films in themselves was a fantastic achievement, you know, at this time. So everybody's done really well, and there's always a winner on these festivals, but in my mind, anybody who gets out and takes part and delivers something to the door has already achieved way beyond the norms. So well done to everybody who took part. Just want to introduce our guests, Allyene. Allyene is a director, writer and producer, features, shorts, TV. and has recently moved into podcasting and the wonderful world of audio drama. Anthony's also on the Screen South board. Anthony, could I just ask you to say a few words?
Yeah, it's great to be here, great to be part of this magnificent event, and it was really a joy to watch the films that were produced. They were of a very high standard.
Thank you, Anthony. And Gabriella, thank you very much for joining us today. Gabriella, we were delighted about 2 or 3 years, well, it's maybe over 3 years ago, when Gabriella walked into the Screen South office and said, I've moved to Folkestone. And said, but aren't you from that lovely festival in London? So Gabriella is a script writer, festival curator, and all-round supporter of new talent. So I'm absolutely delighted that you're with us today, Gabriella. You've become a bit one of our kind of, we must put Gabriella in there. She's got to inspire our people, our new guys coming through. So it'll be really great to get your feedback on the films today as well from that script side. And would you like to say a few words, Gabriella, this morning to our festival audience?
Yeah, well, just thanks for having me involved. I mean, obviously I love what you all do. I feel ridiculously lucky to live on the same street as you. Yeah, I mean, as you've said, I mean, you know, I haven't made a film over lockdown. I've barely been able to get my thoughts together or know what day it is. So massive congratulations to everybody that entered. The diversity of the actual content, different approaches people had, you know, just the inventiveness and stuff. It's just really exciting to see. So yeah, well done everybody.
So what we're going to do this morning is we are going to look at some of the films. We're going to have a discussion about each film and an industry feedback on three of the films. And then later in the session, we will be actually awarding and doing our first virtual trophy award. So stand by for that. That's going to be very exciting. Darian, do you have the trophy standing by?
No, you had the trophy left at your house this morning, Joe.
Oh, they're outside the front door.
No, given to Neil.
He hasn't given them to me. I've been on here for that. Well, that's exciting. So there has been a circuitous route to the trophy giving, but it will be arriving post-haste, just in time for the virtual handover. Oh, fab, thanks, thank you. Okay, so without further ado, I think we can roll camera and action. Ed, is James there as well? Didn't say good morning to James.
I'm here, John, yes.
John, sorry, John. Hi, John, great. So John, you're our projectionist today, I think, are you?
Yes, and here's the first film.
Thank you.
My name's Peyton Patel, an award-winning journalist who investigates the unexplained and the downright weird. And in this week's Peyton Investigates, I am going to look into some very strange goings-on in a very strange corner of Kent. Romney Marsh is famous for its sheep and shingle beach on this isolated tip of Sussex. Some even call it the sixth continent because its landscapes, a supposed desert, is so freaking weird. Recently, however, Romney Marsh has become more famous for something far stranger. Hey! Ever since lockdown, a half-human, half-something else, a disgustingly short hybrid monster walking on 2 legs has been terrorizing the local residents, and I'm going to find out what the hell is going on. I thought I'd start my journey at the home of Karen Dangermouse. According to police reports, the French teacher was the first person to see the beast in March 2020, just weeks before the COVID-19 lockdown. Mr. Dangermouse.
It's Dangermouse. I thought you were coming at 2 p.m.
I left a message.
Well, I didn't get it. Can't you come back later?
Not really, no. Can I come in, please?
I told the local paper and that bloke from the BBC Southeast. Can't you get everything from them?
Not really. We're only here for a day, please.
Go on then. I just come home from work. I made myself a cup of tea. And when I saw this flash of red out of the corner of my eye, I looked out the window.
What did you see?
The beast.
If it's not too distressing, could you please describe it?
I gave you the footage. You can see it for yourselves.
Sacre bleu! Qu'est-ce que c'est?
It must have been frightening, though.
No, I was bloody furious. We have enough problems with the seagulls messing around with our bins and Q. We don't need more bin raiders around here. I knocked on the window and told it to bugger off back from where it came.
And did it?
May we? It slunk under the bushes into next door.
The next witnesses to have seen the vile creature were stargazers Mark and Maya Johnson from Foxton in Dover, who were parked up in Romney Marsh when they had a terrifying encounter with the beast. Let's hear what they have to say.
It was around 10 at night.
A little later, I'd say.
That's why I said around. For God's sakes, he always does this.
I'd say it was 10:15 p.m.
How could it have been 10:15? I remember the 10 p.m. news bulletin coming on just as we arrived. It was just after 10, as I said.
And what were you doing there at that time of the night?
Looking up at the stars. It's great for stargazing. Very little light pollution. I've got quite a large telescope I like to take out. It's pretty powerful.
It wasn't that powerful. Actually, I'd say it was rather on the small side, having tried many larger telescopes.
We were sitting in the car and we heard a bang on the bonnet.
I looked up and there it was. The size of a small child, I'd say, just standing there, peering in at us. All its red, wiry hair wafting around in the wind.
And then what happened?
It jumped off and ran away. I mean, the whole thing lasted a matter of seconds.
Tell me about it. He still has nightmares, wakes up screaming and...
I don't. Why are you wearing so much makeup?
I'm determined to track down the beast that can give a grown man nightmares. Next on the list of witnesses is John Maxted, a sheep carer who was out tending to his flocks when he came face to face with the miscreant and grappled with it as it stole one of his baby sheep. Mr. Maxted, what happened? Sorry, excuse me one second, Mr. Maxted. What did he say?
No idea.
Would you mind removing the mask? It's difficult to understand. Whoa. Right. Thank you, Mr. Maxted. So from what I gather, he grappled with the beast, danced with it, possibly shot it, but the beast got the better of it and it ran off in that direction. What the hell is that?
Power station.
What did he say?
Power station.
Stop filming.
We've got an exciting lead from the sheep carer who tipped us off about a secret power plant hidden right here on the edge of the Kent-Essex border. But it's not your bog standard power plant. It's a nuclear power plant. And my question is this: are nuclear scientists creating monsters in this isolated area, but now one has escaped? This power plant probably doesn't have any official presence anywhere, but it's worth finding out.
Hi, I understand you're doing experiments with animals.
No, we don't do experiments with animals. We used to supply energy to 1.5 million homes, but now both our plants A and B are non-operational.
Because of an accident?
No, because they're both quite old now. One is being decommissioned and the other has been closed for safety reasons.
Safety reasons. We're in the area today. Will you answer some questions on camera?
Oh, sorry, we don't allow filming on the plant, Mr. Patel, for obvious reasons.
Of course you don't. Don't want anyone to see what kind of creatures you're creating? Answer this. Several witnesses report that the beast had a bright red face as if it had been burnt by excessive sunbathing or radiation poisoning.
I can guarantee we have nothing to do with this so-called beast of Romney Marsh.
Then why are you openly advertising on your website, Come and Hunt the Mini Beasts? This creature has been described as stupidly short by witnesses. Has one of these mini beasts your depraved scientists invented escaped through lax security?
Our mini beast tour refers to the indigenous and rare insects found on Dungeon F, Mr. Patel. If you'd like to visit without cameras, you'd be very welcome. We're doing a special offer at half term, actually. Half-price entrance with a mini beast hunt with wildlife experts.
We're putting the nuclear theory on hold as we've just had a very interesting call from Sarah Hughes, a vicar of Romney in the Marsh. She's agreed to meet us here at her church and says she has something to show us. She's moving rather suspiciously. Maybe she's hiding something. Let's hear what she has to say. Miss Hughes, thank you for agreeing to seeing me.
In 1664, the village was nearly disseminated by the plague, and those that survived blamed the disease on a painting in the church of a red-faced demon. The bishop buried it deep in the ground. But earlier this year, building work on a new estate disrupted its burial ground. Prepare yourself.
Follow me.
Which way did it go?
There! It's haunting me.
I saw it run into here somewhere. Stay here. I'm going to take a look.
I've got it now. Come on. It's got to be in one of these ones. No, it's not in here. No, it's not in here either. No, it's not in here. Where did it go? Did you see that? Showing me the finger. Why are you little? Did you get it?
I've got it.
Come on. I give you the beast of Romney Marsh. Aha! Where did it go? It was here just a second ago and it just disappeared. Nuclear experiment gone wrong? Or a demon from an escaped old painting? I guess we'll never know. But my investigation into the beast of Romney Marsh is officially over. See you next time.
Oh my goodness. Well done, Beastlings Productions. Amazing piece of work in the time. My goodness me. And to get all that work across Dungeness as well, and to bring in the railway. I love that little railway. That was wonderful. Thank you, Igor, and your team. Marvelous. We're going to take a few minutes between each film. What I didn't say at the beginning is we have chosen 3 films this morning that we will be screening, and these are the 3 finalists. We will be, Ed and Sarah, Don will be putting up the films on the Jam, all of the films on the Jam website, and I think obviously a link from our website too on Monday. I think it is. Is that right, Ed? On Monday, all the films go up. Yeah, I think so.
Technically, they are, I think, already up. But yeah, you're best to join. Have a look at all of them after this is finished.
Yeah. So just to flag that for all of you. Anthony and Gabrielle, so industry response to the first film, please. What did you think, judges? Anthony.
Okay, yes, I think it was a very energetic film, and I do also like mockumentaries as well, especially investigative mockumentaries. So it didn't take itself too seriously, but the production value was really, really high as well. And from watching it, it kept me engaged because I wanted to see where it was going and where it would end. So I think it's a very, very, very strong effort to pull something like that off because tonally it's not very easy to do. And I think that the lead actor was excellent. He actually stitched it all together, and a lot of all of the supporting actors as well actually played their roles really, really well and knowingly. There was a lot of nodding towards the camera, which was great, and that's what made it even better for me. So yeah, I really enjoyed watching it, and I think I'd like to see what comes next from this filmmaker.
And from the point of view of the technical ability of that film, from what you might expect from a short film that's been made in a short amount of time, looking for high impact, do you think it achieved in that area?
Reading your newspaper and the cat in front of you.
Well, yes, I think actually one of the things that I liked a lot about it was the sound quality, because there was a lot of movement and there was a lot of location work, and the sound was very, very clean. Obviously, the picture, the video, the actual grading as well was really, really nice, but I would commend it for sound because it was very, very hard to do that.
Yeah, and a lot of exteriors for sound is always difficult, isn't it?
Yeah.
Picking up, Gabrielle, I can't see you on my. Have you moved into? Oh, there you are.
I'm sorry, I'm just sitting back.
Yes, good. Well, now, Gabrielle, were you taken in? Are you freaked out by the fear of the beast?
Takes a lot to scare me, to be honest, Joe. Takes a lot to scare me. But I think what was lovely is how the kind of local legends and local myths and different attitudes towards mythology and legend, were woven into the piece. It had a lovely energy to it. You could tell that they had a lot of fun making it, and I think it's incredibly ambitious to do that many locations in such a short time, and to contextualize them within the story as well. So bravo.
And the acting, the lead character.
Yeah, I mean, it was lovely that we had such a again, just a sort of lovely energy to it. It's, you can kind of feel the enthusiasm radiating off the cast, and the lovely sense of humour with it as well.
I really liked the cast, Anthony. I thought it was really good on-screen talent, wasn't it? They really went for it.
Yeah.
A lot of times when you're watching short films, the casting is the thing that lets it down. So I think in this case, it really, really helped strengthen it and make it a lot better.
Excellent. Jolly good. So we have 2 more films.
Joe, can I just jump in for one sec?
Thank you.
Say, I know that there's a bit of quality issues via the broadcast of this at the moment. Please note, everybody, that if you go to the Jam website or indeed Screen South's after this, you'll be able to see them in a somewhat higher format.
I thought it was just my link, so that's general, is it? But interestingly, it worked because the sound was so good anyway. I didn't mind the bit of lag. I kept with, as Anthony's pointed out, if the sound's good, honestly, it for all the budding filmmakers out there, it is such huge, makes such a huge difference to everybody's enjoyment. But anyway, I thought it was wonderful. I will be next time I'm in Dungeon. I was in Dungeness all day yesterday, so the beast didn't get me yet. Okay, moving on. Can we have the second film, please, John?
We die with the dying. See, they depart, and we go with them. We are born with the dead. See, they return, and bring us with them. The moment of the rose and the moment of the yew tree are of equal duration. A people without history is not redeemed from time, for history is a pattern of timeless moments. So, while the light fails on a winter's afternoon, in a secluded chapel, history is now and England. With the drawing of this love and the voice of this calling, we shall not cease from exploration, and the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started and know the place for the first time. shall not cease from exploration. And the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started and know the place for the first time. We die with the dying. See, they depart, and we go with them. We are born with the dead. See, they return, and bring us with them. Not known because not looked for, but heard, half heard, in the stillness between two waves of the sea. Quick now, here now, always. A condition of complete simplicity, costing not less than everything. And all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well.
That was absolutely beautiful, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I know it was lagging a bit. Yes, Ed, absolutely. I know it was lagging a bit, but actually I didn't mind it because I had longer to see every image, and every image was just beautiful. Where is AJP? Who's on the line? Who made that? Is that you? On Barbara's iPad? You're on mute. What? I can't hear you on mute, but what a beautiful film, and what a beautiful. Hello. Yes.
Good, good, yeah. I can't afford my own iPad.
Well, when you've got a lovely film like that that's doing something right, it was gorgeous. You know, don't worry about the old iPad. You've got Barbara's. No, it was really lovely, and I'm sorry that it was juddering for you, but as I said, it just gave us longer to enjoy each moment, which you really framed so well. Where are you? I've lost you again. Gabriella. Gabriella, what did you think of that? It was an amazing little film, wasn't it?
It's really beautiful. I mean, honestly, just the immersive quality of it. It just makes you want to go there, and it feels the way that you've integrated your own personal connection to the landscape and made that accessible in terms of feeling like we can really get a sense of what it's like to be there. The editing, the cinematography, the fact that you've used the different styles of films, sort of stock, I suppose we used to call it, but film kind of textures. It's lovely. The choice of music is great, and it's poignant, it's moving, and yet it's not saccharine. It's got this really lovely tone to it. I really enjoyed the experience of watching it, and it feels like an experience. I mean, that's one I think on the big screen would just be.
Yeah, you can really.
Thank you.
Yes, I so agree.
Anthony.
Hi.
Who's that? Somebody's joining the panel. More than welcome. Anthony.
Yes, I was going to say a very, very similar thing. I think what he's managed to do is mix together a lot of elements in a very coherent way. When you're mixing together archive, narration, and all of these things, what usually happens is people just throw them all in and they just end up, being, the whole thing's being narrated. What I loved about this was the gaps that he left, which allowed the audience to actually participate, and it wasn't just a one-way thing. And the narration was used really, really carefully and really, really well, and that actually made the story so much better and much more human as well in that respect, because we were able to participate, as I said. So I really, really enjoyed it. I think that it's a very, very highly professional piece of work.
And it's a sort of film that would work in a gallery as well as a cinema, because the images are so beautiful.
Yeah.
And there's that sense of space and time. I think the arc of the story, the way that you drew us in, albeit it was very abstract, we had plenty of space to think, but I think the arc of the story, Gabriella, what would you say about that? Because we were drawn in, weren't we? Albeit with very visual film.
Yeah, definitely. It sort of goes from, sort of almost from a broader perspective, and then you get closer and closer in, and it's almost like your emotional connection to your emotional connection to the content is heightened throughout. So
Can I just say, Rika? Lovely, thank you. Well done. Sorry, Gabriella.
That's okay. But yeah, so your emotional connection increases as the piece develops, and that really beautiful composition with AJP, we still don't know your real name, man of mystery, as a child, and then as you're walking along the horizon line. I love that composition. It's really delicate and beautiful, and it's a lovely sort of encapsulation of what you've achieved. Yeah.
And the counterbalance of the music.
Oh, beautiful. I mean, it's almost got a meditative quality. As I say, it just feels like an experience. And as Anthony said, professional standard. Yeah, I mean, it really feels like I don't know exactly as you say, like you see it in a gallery, and it wouldn't be at all out of place in a gallery experience. It's something that feels like you both want to be there, and yet you are there at the same time.
And Anthony, the choice of the T.S. Eliot.
Yeah, I think it worked. Again, this has got to do with making choices and understanding where these things should go. So I think that it wasn't overplayed. It was there, and it was, you heard the voice and you heard you heard Eliot's work, but it didn't take over. It formed a really, really lovely background to everything. And it's one of the elements that has been built on to make this work. Each element is really, really important. And so what I always say about filmmaking is it's about choices, and the choices that have been made here have been really, really clever.
Lovely. Well done. Well done at AJP. Excellent piece of work. Thank you. Moving forward, over to John, the projectionist, for the final film of the Jam Film Festival this morning.
Weißt du, wer da liegt auf dem Marsh Beach? In der Wüste aus Stein, nah beim Kernkraftbiest?
Hä? Was ist das? Danke.
This is the story that my mom told me when I was your age.
Okay.
Es war einmal, vor langer, langer Zeit, da schwamm durch die dunklen Tiefen der finsteren Nordsee.
Once upon a time, in fact, not that long ago, as the century turned, if you do want to know, on the fourth but last day of the year 99, a mysterious creature, his appearance divine, swam slowly through the dark depths of the grey British Sea, a merman, so desperate he wanted to flee the sorrows and pangs of impossible love that he felt for the fisherman's daughter above. The treacherous sea witch with devious smile had seen him coming and lured him inside. She was all ears when he poured out his heart and confessed that forbidden love tore him apart. The witch cooed falsely. "What tough times for you! Incidentally, I have magical powers, it's true. Being loved by your sweetheart, would that not be nice? I can make it happen, but it comes at a price." Meanwhile, on the shore of Marsh Beach, the fisherman's daughter was nibbling a peach. She sat on the edge of the old weathered pier, with the wind in her hair and the world in her ear. For her eyes were blind to all things around, so her mind painted pictures for her purely from sound. Yet this morning the blind maiden swished around, startled by an unusual sound, when ridding herself of the pit of her peach. Instead of a splash, a plonk, and a screech. "Who's there?" she explained, with a fraction of fear, as no one had ever come up to her pier, at least not from that side of the sea. What was going on, and how could this be? The merman, meanwhile, was quite fearful too. Was this his personal Waterloo? That sea witch had stolen his glorious physique, had turned him into a stony freak. How on earth could he woo now the love of his life without taking the risk and give her right fright? But just as he frantically thought of a plan, she called, "I don't believe in the bogeyman. Show yourself, stranger. I know you are there. Your heart beats too loud in your chest. Be aware. Even though I don't see you, I picture you still. Reveal yourself properly, or else I shall shrill." With a sigh of torment, the merman gave in and slowly moved closer, his hands quivering. How slim were the odds for him to succeed, and the thought of this made his broken heart bleed. The fisherman's daughter, she sensed his fears, reached out with her hands, caught one of his tears, and softly she spoke. "Come and tell me what's wrong. Your sorrow is mine. Together we're strong." For a moment he froze and considered retreat, when he suddenly almost felt knocked off his feet, for the blind girl took hold of his hands, and so he continued and told her his long tale of woe, of feeling so different and not fitting in. Why could he not be like the rest around him? Until that one day he laid eyes on her, and a sense of belonging began to stir. Yet his feelings of joy soon turned into pain and started to drive him almost insane, since most merpeople see it as the biggest disgrace to love someone from the human race. Overcome by big sadness, the maiden replied, "My dear stone-turned merman, I feel horrified by the prejudice some of your folks seem to hold. They seem superficial, judgmental, and cold. Back home I must rush, but come back in the morning. We'll continue our talk whilst my dad is still snoring." And despite being left on the shore all alone, our stone man began to feel wondrously warm. Meanwhile, in the depths of the grey British Sea, the sea witch's face had turned pure vomit green. The two lovebirds were making her sick to the bone. So she sluggishly slid off her DIY throne to slightly adjust her original plan before it might go even more out of hand. Still, the witch was convinced that the merman would lose the deal he had made with her, so she did choose for a bit too long which hat to wear. I'm ever so glad you did not hear her swear. The next day, when she arrived moments too late, and they'd already started on their second date. There was nothing the sea witch could do but wait. She had to think fast, before it was too late. Oh, the sea witch, she suffered. This was much worse than hell, as she had to admit she had used the wrong spell. That the merman now looked like a grey, stony beast, to a pretty blind girl didn't matter the least. His voice had enchanted her down to the core, and all she now wanted was listen some more. The sea witch, she knew there wasn't much time. If this does continue, he'll never be mine. So when the young girl arrived back at her home, the foul sea witch put on her most tempting tone and teasingly spoke. Do you not want to see the wondrous man who has spoken to thee? Surprised, the girl spoke. Blind I always will be. The witch replied, not if you dare follow me. But maybe I should have just kept my mouth shut and let you get on with your life in your hut. For earning your sight, it was quite a tough toll that is likely too hard for your delicate soul. The fisherman's girl, to the witch's delight, froze in her step, her cheeks flustered bright. Tell me what to do so I can see, and I will do it ASAP. The witch, with a satisfied grin, replied, well, all you need to do is go and tell the first person you see in the morn with your eyes that they're awful, disgusting, a freak to despise. If your lips stay sealed, so will your eyes. Make your decision by tomorrow sunrise. And thus, the witch vanished in a black puff of smoke. The horrified girl thought that she was to choke. Oh, what a dilemma! She was desperate for eyes, but they came at a treacherous, inhuman price. They met the next morn. It was hardly light. The bad witch was there, but the girl, without fright, took a step forward. She held her head high, composed herself, swallowed, and with a sigh, she raised her voice and spoke loud and clear, with the first sun rays melting the rest of her fear. All my life, I have longed and wanted to see what so far are only imagined to be. And now that I have the chance to gain sight, I tell you, O sea witch, with bitter delight, that my blind eyes are eye enough to see what truly and really matters to me. Therefore, my dear Stoneman, do take my hand and guide me through this whimsical land that your wonderful voice sees and paints for me. That is all I need to be happy and free. Thus she spoke. Then she raised herself, tilted her head. She wanted their lips to seal what she had said. However, just as they were about to unite, the sea witch exploded with anger and spite and unleashed the most violent storm ever seen. It wiped out and slashed Denmarsh Beach crystal clean. It tore up and crushed all that was not made of stone. The Stoneman's mute scream, heard by dawn all alone. The dust has settled. Out of its dense fog looms the spirit of Denmarsh Beach like a rock. Across the demolished and pulverized plain, the ghost can be heard. Your love wasn't in vain. Never, under my watchful eye, will true love ever be undermined. The damage seems done. I can't bring back the dead. But what I can do is ease the pain instead. Once every moon, by the onset of night, the two misled lovers are allowed to unite. The nevermore merman sank down to the ground, where his figure of stone still today can be found. There he lies on the shingles of Denmarsh Beach, and dreams of his love when she nibbled that peach. He remembers her courage to accept staying blind, in order to live a Maxine, be kind. He lies there and holds tight the Denmarsh dust, for somewhere in there rests his true love. And once in a moon, through their guardian's charm, the eternal lovers unite arm in arm. There you are, star-crossed lovers from the fifth continent. Let love's story to us be a strong monument that we dare to be different, that we dare to be true to ourselves and our dreams, that we always pursue to achieve what deep down we wish to be. So with kindness and courage, we set ourselves free.
Well done, Karina. Wow, amazing, amazing animation and folk tale. Whether it's true or not, I mean, to me, that's now part of the mythology of the beach. You created a new story for me. Anthony.
Yeah, I think it was excellent. I think that whenever you're watching something, it should take you through the full range of emotions. And I was actually surprised at the depth of emotion in this story, but also the technical quality of everything. And I mean everything, from the camera work to the animation, to the sound, to the music, to the sound design. It was all sort of, at a level where you were just really surprised that something like this could be made in such a short space of time, because so much work has gone into this and it's all paid off. I think it was outstanding, and I don't say that very often.
No, you don't. Thank you, Anthony. Gabriella.
Yeah, Corinna, you just smashed that. It was just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. It draws you in, as Joe said. I mean, I'm not aware of that, how much of an existing folk tale that is or not, and I don't care. It's wonderful. It exists. It's got the most brilliant meanings running all the way through it. I love fairy tales. Always love fairy tales. And again, like previous one, I want to go there. I want to go and find him. I've never seen him. I need to run up to that bit of beach and discover him. It's so powerful. It's actually like something shifts when you watch it, where you actually feel a deeper connection to the landscape and the heritage. And I think that's what good folk tales do. And astonishing achievement, the quality of the animation, and as Anthony said, all of the elements of it. It's really, really spectacular. Yeah, I mean, you totally smashed it for me. Well done, amazing. Thank you for making it, and thank you for sharing it.
Well, we could say a lot about that film, but we need to see it again, and they are all available on the website. So please take a look at that. Karina, can I just ask, if you wouldn't mind, did you work with collaborators there? You're on mute.
On mute. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did all of the characters myself. I did the story myself. The only help I had was from Carsten Birkebeck. He did the aerial footage, the aerial photography, the droneage. So when I'm lying with the STONEMAN, and everything else was done by myself. I had my partner, he came with me to the beach to take the footage of me and my daughter walking on the beach. And I had, towards the end of, I did 2 versions of the same film. So after the first version, I got some really brilliant feedback from Justin Agate.
Yeah.
And so he had a couple of ideas where I could bring in another scene, I had a small group, but very helpful input from other people.
Excellent, thank you very much. Well,
I need to say sorry.
the music, I need to mention Paul. So he played the flute. So I recorded different flute songs with him. So I said to him, "Oh, now I need you to play really angrily or something really sad," and then he did that. So yeah.
And Paul, where's Paul?
Paul is joining us at 12, so hopefully he will come.
Be here shortly. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Karina. I mean, it would be nice to have time to talk to everybody, but we'll pick that up after the announcement. But I just wanted to say, Anthony and Gabriella, when you're making a final, when you're making the final decision about, it's very difficult to pick the winner. There is a winner, and I just wonder how you go about making those decisions. And this is what they're going to win, if everybody can see that. That beautiful Jam on the Marsh presentation. We will get it to you, but when you're trying to decide, how do you go about that judging? It's very difficult being a judge on a panel, and we just saw the top 3, but how do you make those decisions?
I think it's something that
Gabrielle, Anthony, go on.
No, Gabrielle can go first.
For me, it was made so much easier by the excellent form that we had to accompany, for all of the areas of all the criteria that we were judging by. So that just made it really simple. I think having a clear criteria, which was, all of the different technical elements, so storytelling, editing, sound, cinematography, and kind of scoring with that system was just incredibly helpful. And I'm going to ask future places that ask me to judge to use that same form, because that wasn't as heartbreaking as it often is, because it's such a difficult thing. And as well, when you're judging anything, it's always subjective. To a certain degree, it's going to be, because we can't help remove our personalities, our own subjective responses. So that was an excellent system to use. So thank you to Ed and Sarah for that as well, because it was helpful.
And when you're looking at the array of films, what stands out for you? What makes you, oh right, okay, this is something different?
Well, now it's becoming more about audio for me, because I'm moving into audio. I've always liked audio. I've always been somebody who's listened very, very carefully to what is coming out from the speakers or from the film itself. So I'm looking at audio, but I'm also looking at every element of it and seeing whether I'm getting dragged out, whether I'm something's not working for me, and I'm losing attention in terms of a narrative. Because that's the thing which is the barometer for me. It's the same as if I'm watching anything. If I'm watching something on Netflix or anywhere else, if I'm getting dragged out because I don't believe it, then I'm looking that something's not working for me. And it is subjective, but at the same time, it's kind of the only way that you can do it. It has to be subjective. So I think I'm looking for every element to be firing all of the time, which isn't always possible, but in the winner, it was.
Yeah. Okay. I'd just like to say a big, huge round of applause to everybody who submitted a film, and it's been really lovely watching these films, and particularly lovely. Let's have a Zoom clap for everybody. Particularly lovely when you're not able to get out there at the moment, and for you to bring your worlds into our world is just so fantastic. It makes that's the living beauty of film, isn't it, for all of us? Yeah. So extra special congratulations to you all for actually doing that. And this morning we've seen 3 that have taken us away and taken us out of ourselves and beautifully, all 3 of them. But as I said at the start of this, there is a winner, and that winner, as you heard from Anthony and Gabriella, hit the mark. They absolutely drew us into their world. The technical ability, the creative excellence, the collaborators on music, all rounded up that I think we have a very special piece of work that will go forward as a short film competition winner 2020. Goes to Karina and STONEMAN. Absolutely brilliant. You can all take off your mutes and give a huge round of applause to Karina, who represents you know, the tip of the iceberg of the lovely talent that we have down here. So thank you so much, Karina. Well done to your team. We will get this to you. But alongside this beautiful, and it does light up as well. I don't know if you can all see it, but it lights up as well if you like to have it in the corner and change the lighting. I'm sure your daughter will have some fun with that. But it really is beautiful, a lovely award, a lovely trophy that you'll be able to treasure. I don't know if you won film festivals before, but there's something very special about having your, well done and congratulations. You also have a beautiful award that's boxed up fantastically, and it's your £100 Amazon voucher.
Wow.
So go and have some fun and buy some more clay. We want to see more films from you, Karina. We want to see more films from all of you. So congratulations all round. This is where we'd be popping the champagne. So the virtual pops are going off around you. Hurrah! And well done to Paul. Beautiful. Is that your flute? We can't. Is that Paul Sharon?
Shenower. Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful, Paul.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations. I mean, and the way that you worked, and I don't know if you were there when Karina was talking about how she worked with you. It was like, I want to do that, and just emotionally reacting to that, doing something so beautiful.
Yeah,
really.
No, it was a superb collaboration. Wonderful, absolutely great.
I mean, that's what it's about, isn't it? And Karsten, those beautiful shots.
Yeah, it was marvelous. Knowing a bit about Karina's world. I mean, the amount of effort she's put into this, the amount of time, the creativity, detail, unbelievable. So well done.
Yeah, it's excellent.
I would really suggest that we all plug our computers into our TVs if you can't do it already and watch it on a big screen. And I would say that about all the films that we've seen today. But give yourself a treat when you go some point over the next week or so. Put your feet up and watch all films. Watch all the films that have been submitted on a big screen, and just really immerse yourself in the talent around you. We're very lucky, and I'm so delighted for you, Karina. Sorry,
Well done.
Igor and AJP and your teams, that you didn't win the actual top prize, but you are absolutely amazing filmmakers. What you've done, what you've given to us today is really remarkable. Thank you so much to the two runners-up at the Jam and the Marsh Film Festival. So we have a moment. Yeah, hooray, hooray, big shout out.
Joe, can I say something?
Yeah.
Because
Sharon, who's speaking? I can't see.
Michelle.
Michelle.
I did the
Hi, Michelle.
Marsh, and it was because you keep saying it's Igor's film. It was actually my film. But it's fine. I mean, I just like
Michelle. I'm so sorry.
And yeah,
Michelle, I am very sorry.
That's okay.
Please forgive me.
That's all right. Don't worry. I just wanted to say thank you, a big thank you to Screen South, because I would never have even imagined making a film.
I'm even more impressed now.
You know what I mean? That is my first
you, Michelle,
film, and I was so happy to have been able to do a free course, and it's just incredible. It's been amazing, and I really loved it. And my mum had just died when we made it, and it just gave us so much joy. So and I thank you for all the actors as well. They're absolutely brilliant, and to Igor and everybody. Thank you. Sorry,
Michelle. You are a director and a writer. You wrote that as well.
I wrote it and produced it. Igor was behind the film. He did the filming.
He was the cinematographer.
Yeah.
Honestly, you should be so proud of yourself.
Thank you.
It's amazing. When you came in, you didn't even know when you started, you didn't know.
No.
It's absolutely brilliant, Michelle. Well done, my goodness.
Thank you very much.
So impressed.
I'll be quiet.
You now. Sorry?
I'll be quiet now.
No, you don't have to be quiet. Honestly, you don't. You should be very proud of yourself. I'm so impressed. I'm sorry that, your light was hidden under a bushel there for a moment, but it won't be anymore. Thank you for speaking out. I really appreciate it, Michelle. I felt dreadful if you hadn't done that. Thank you. So listen, you know, Michelle started in when was it? Was it January? I've lost track of time. When did we start the Marsh?
I think February, yeah.
And it was, you know, people walked in, and that day I said, I absolutely love this group of people, because it was all ages and all abilities. And people just went, well, I love film. I don't know why I'm here and what I'm going to do, but I just really like film and I want to do something. And it's been a wonderful journey, hasn't it, Darianne and Sarah and Ed? It's been a really lovely journey to see you all delivering. It's fantastic. But you know, what happens now? This is our industry conversation. You've all got the chance to join in and ask any questions, please. What happens now? And Anthony and Gabriella. Yeah.
I must offer my sincerest apologies that I have to sign off now, and head away. But thank you everybody for your incredible work. I hope that I'll meet you again soon. Joe thankfully keeps on booking me up for bits and bobs, so if she keeps doing that, we've got a good chance of meeting one another at some point at a future Screen South thing. But thank you all so much, and hopefully see you. And I'm so looking forward to when Marsh can open.
It's such a beautiful cinema.
Yeah.
It's going to be lovely. We're going to have a lovely session.
Cinema will live on no matter what the press says. And thank you, Ed and Sarah and Joe, and great to work with you, Anthony, and well done all of you that made anything.
Thanks, Gabriella, and thanks for staying on a little bit longer. I know that you had to run, so thanks very much for hanging on.
No worries. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks for all your judging. Lovely. Anthony, I'll ask you the question then. What's next? You know, if somebody's watching this and they're thinking, how do I start that? Or for the people who have made these filmmakers who've made the beautiful films, you know, all of them. What do you think would be next if you were in their shoes? Big question. There's so many options, but
there is, because everybody's got their own path. That's the thing that you'll understand, is that, you know, my advice may not work. The only piece of advice that I would say that always works is to make sure that you've planned your next project, and that it's not a case of waiting to see what happens to your film in festivals, or basking in the glory for too long. You should bask for a little while. But what you should do is already be thinking of your next project, who you'll be working with, how you'll be approaching it. And if you do that, then it usually takes care of itself if you do that. And you keep on learning from the mistakes that you made last time, because there are always going to be mistakes. And you build a team around you that you trust and that you carry on working with. And this is actually a really important point, because not everybody, but a lot of people try to sort of go from one project to another without building a team around them. And the team is so important, because you can't do it on your own. As all of you know now, but you get better together, and it becomes a journey you all go on instead of just you.
I think that's really interesting, because Karina, you know, the winning film, you drew on some really good talent around you. You're choosing people that you know you'd like to have an ongoing collaborative relationship with, if that happens. But something in terms of, you know, I suppose industry positioning of this work, there is a wider festival route for people to be able to get their work out there. And a lot of these festivals are online, but they will come back, you know, over the next year or so, hopefully, to the live situation. But all of these films can go out to festivals more widely and internationally. I mean, you've had films, you've done that. From an industry perspective, what is it like when you get out into that festival world?
I think it's good. I think that the festival world is great for reminding you that you're relevant and that you're good enough, and that all of the sacrifices that you make on a daily basis to make films has a point to it. I think that winning festivals gives you a very, very big sort of profile as well. It's becoming even more important now, because people can't actually get to events. They look at people who've won festivals during this time. Um, it's about planting a seed and sort of make it sort of not putting all your eggs in one basket and getting disappointed if you don't get chosen for one festival, but planting a seed and sort of saying, okay, then maybe it was another festival, because all festivals have different criteria, different things they're looking for, and you can't win them all or get, mentioned in all of them. So it's a case of sort of looking at all the festivals and having a strategy, look at all of the past winners, past runners up, and see what kind of films they were and choose the right festivals. They don't have to be A-list festivals. And a lot of people make this mistake that they just apply for A-list festivals. I think you should apply for interesting.
When you say A-list, people won't necessarily know what A-list festival means. How would you describe that?
Okay, well, you would have Venice, London, Cannes, Berlin, Sundance, Toronto. So just at the top of my head, those sort of 5 or 6 festivals are the ones that everybody wants to get into and everybody wants to win. And there are a lot of really, really interesting festivals just under those. So I think you should mix it up and do A and B, and see where you come out from when you do that. Obviously, it'll be great if you can win an A-list festival, but it's also brilliant if you can win a B type festival as well, because that gives you a stepping point for your next film, where you will get to an A-list festival.
Where do people find out about festivals?
I think it's a case of doing just a lot of online research. I think there used to be a website called filmfestivals.com. I don't know whether that's still active, because
the British Council.
British Council have their own list as well of festivals that they support. I'm not sure what that support equates to these days. They used to pay for filmmakers to go to festivals. I don't think they do that anymore, but maybe they do. Um, I think there's a lot of research and a lot of also actually attending a lot of these festivals, because they're actually a lot cheaper now because they're online. And it's a good way to get in and to sort of watch things from a different point of view, if they're, because they're cheaper, or some of them are free. So there are more opportunities to actually get involved and learn more about festivals than there used to be. You used to have to go, and if you couldn't go, then you'd hear about it. But now you can experience it in the same way that we're doing this.
I think what we're finding with a lot of people who are they go down the festival route, and they may get selected, may not, but personal social media promotion actually can get a very big audience.
Yeah.
Would you say something about that?
Yeah, I think marketing is a very, very important part of self-marketing. Marketing the film and yourself, I think, are really, really important right now. And it's quite not easy, but you can get people to swarm around an idea if they like it, if there's something really relevant about it, which they can connect to. So I think that's really, really important. And if you can't do it yourself, find somebody that can actually help you with social media, because otherwise people may not be able to identify your work above all the others, because there's so much work out there. There's got to be a way in which you can sort of step above it. So social media is very, very good.
And use Facebook. Those of you who have your films on the Jam the Marsh and Screen South website now, you should be really promoting yourself and use all the means, your Twitter and your Instagram or whatever, and get the other people to pitch that out for you too. I noticed, Peter, you said Film Freeway. Yeah, absolutely. Peter, you've had a film out in the market, haven't you? It's not always easy. It's quite hard sometimes. We know that, but it's a labor of love sometimes, and that and costly. Yeah. Especially those big festivals. They charge big fees just to apply. It's not easy, which is why I think, particularly with the COVID, screen time that people are using, creating your own platform and doing your own push will sometimes get you far more people watching your program than sitting back and waiting for the festivals. Short film making generally, Anthony, talking about money, Peter, and paying for your short film. I mean, everybody here has done their shorts for love, I would have thought, and for the passion to support the creative vision of the friend or, you know, somebody they've been working with, which is absolutely brilliant and probably the most genuine place to start. It's where we all start, really, at whatever level. But going forward, in terms of advice for people who maybe want to take a professional step in that direction, would you have any advice? And Peter, you might come in, about how to get your foot on some, or get your hands on some cash that might be out there. Is that possible currently? Do you think it's something that people should be considering? Is it available? It's very hard.
It's always been hard. I think it's probably harder right now, to get money for short films. There are some schemes which are being run, which again, doing some research really helps to see who's running what short filmmaking schemes in the UK right now. You then have the logistical problems of actually shooting these films, given that you know, we're going to enter a second wave. We already are in a second wave. So it's really difficult, but that doesn't mean you should give up. I think that you always have elements which you can control. There are things that you could potentially do within your own bubble, actually, to make films. But it is hard. It is tough. There's no point pretending that it isn't. So in terms of how it evolves and how you make films, I don't really have an answer to that right now.
There are some opportunities. If you're under 30, there are more, particularly with BBC Arts and the new creatives programs that we're running. You know, there's a lot of, if you can link up with somebody under 30, there is more money out there. But those young people can work with older people. It's not that, but they have to be the lead, you know, applicant. The BFI have the Film Hub network.
Yes.
And they do have money, but it's like squeezing water out of a stone, out of a stone man. You know, they do have money. And as somebody said to me on Tuesday, well, why shouldn't you get it? You know, there is a sense of, don't let them tell you you're not good enough. You know, why shouldn't you get it? You know, all the filmmakers, the work you've shown, the work you've done on little or nothing, and family and friend support is absolutely brilliant. And you know, to show those films and starting new professional collaborations off your own back without any fiscal support shows real resilience and ambition. And there are the film, what's it, the BFI, British Film Institute, has something called the Hub Network, and they're online. And Thomas Whiteman, there you go, that's his name. He's the person behind the pathways for short film finance in the Southeast from the British Film Institute. So just look him up. He's a talent, I think his talent manager. I think that's actually his title for the BFI. And also the Arts Council support animation, Karina. Anybody else? Anybody who's and dance and, you know, photography and music. And if you think the Arts Council don't fund film, they're funding all the short films that we're making at the moment to the tune of 36 over this year and a half. So they do fund film, but they fund film that's, you know, creatively, artistically driven. We all make creative, artistic films, but, you know, so animation, if you're thinking about animation, you can apply to the project fund, which is open, and you can get funding up to 10,000 for that. If they're looking with the Arts Council, they don't want to fund commercial films that are going to sit nicely on TV and be part of that kind of TV children's series, but they will fund animation that is creatively driven and could sit in a gallery or could sit, you know, on a website, or could inspire. So that's very important. In terms of ages,
I was just
sorry.
going to say, Joe, quickly, is I think we should also mention audio as well, because we've collaborated
Absolutely.
and I think audio drama is. I've done a set of masterclasses on audio drama because I'm in post production on my first one, and it's something that we started during the first pandemic lockdown, and it's something that actually you don't need gatekeepers for as much as you will need for something which is audio visual. And it's something which I've sort of been a proponent of telling people that audio drama is going to be the next big thing, because we recorded remotely. There were people all over the world, and it's something which you can keep going, and something which is another string to your bow. So I'm not saying to stop doing filming and filmmaking, but I think that there are alternatives, and not just to keep going down one path.
And also, given that this is the music festival partnership, there's huge potential there, you know, in terms of sound design and composing with audio drama. It's a really fantastic opportunity, because the world is built not through pictures, through sound, and the quality of audio work out there at the moment is very good and very compelling. Yeah, absolutely. I've been asking all the questions, and there should have been an opportunity to ask some. Would anybody like to ask the industry, and Anthony or myself, any questions about what you're doing, or how you'd like to, what your next steps might be?
Joe.
Yeah, Michelle.
Edward.
Sorry, Ed.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've started writing the next episode in this. I'm hoping it's going to carry on. It's called Skullduggery, about missing skulls of St. Leonard's Church in Hythe. The same kind of format, but I was just wondering, you know, in terms of whether you could get funding for that kind of thing, like kind of short series of kind of, I don't know. Is there any way you can get funding, or?
Well, I think the answer to that is that traditional forms of funding are difficult, as we said, but there are other ways to look at getting funding. And one way that you can think about getting funding is to look at local sponsors, people who maybe have an interest in it and who are interested in supporting something local or regional. And you might be really surprised as to somebody who says, you know what, I really, really would like to help you with this. It may not be a lot, but what happens is if you get one, then you're able to get two much easier. So it's the first one that's always difficult.
Yeah.
And if you know anybody who has an interest, you can just drop it into conversation. Do you know anybody who might be interested in supporting this with a little bit of? It's getting the first one, but that's a really interesting way of funding things now.
Right. Okay.
There are small project grants from the lottery, and you know, you engaged a lot of people in the community in your project.
Yeah.
And you know, you could, and I'm sure you will build on that going forward.
Definitely.
And there is, you know, there are small community grants on the lottery where the focus is on everything. It's not on saying I'm going to make a film. It's on engagement and community cohesion and that side. But that's what you do when you make a film. So you kind of need to look sideways at the activity that you're doing that brings people together under a creative umbrella. You know, the team building, you know, the kind of the joy that comes into that community, and the idea there'd be a series that would be coming out of that community. There are ways to do that. You've got to take a sideways look at funding for film at the moment, particularly on shorts, and particularly on shorts that don't necessarily sit into, you know, where, let's put it this way, a mockudrama fun scenario that's, you know, could, as long as you want to make it and it's driven by your fun and your ideas and the people you want to work with. But you know, there's a point where you go, I really want to be able to pay, you know, the technical crew or something, you know, and that's where, you know, there are ways of looking at lottery funding for that. If you can frame it in a way that's about leading on the community engagement rather than necessarily the output is the film, but there's lots of other things going on that isn't just about film. As you know, I mean, I think the benefit of the group and the networking for you know, this program has been really good. It's so great to see so many of you working together and coming in. You know, it's so. I mean, I was so delighted when I saw, you know, that everybody wasn't under 10 when I walked into that first session. I thought, this is brilliant. Such a reflection of the local community. It was really heartwarming. Yeah. Sorry, Ed, you were going to say something.
Yeah, I just wanted to repeat my thanks and congratulations to everyone who submitted a film. And then I just wanted to direct a question to Karina, actually. Karina, I absolutely love your film. It blew me away the first time I watched it. And I just wondered if you could give us some sort of insight as to how long it took to make and whether you made all the models yourself, etc. I'd love to know more about the process that you went through and whether you could tell anything about
that. So yes, I made all of the models myself. It took me about a week and a half to write the story. So it was actually you, Ed, who inspired me to pick the STONEMAN, because I don't know if you remember the conversation we had at this, I think it was the first session at Screen South, where I said, I actually don't know the Marshes very well. I need to have a look at them before I can come up with the story. And so you mentioned, I think you called him the Concrete Man to me, and it just spoke to me, and I wanted to know more about him. And when I found out that there is actually not much knowledge about him, where he's come from and who put him there, I was like, oh, this is my thing, because I'm a storyteller. I love telling stories. And then Carsten was fantastic helper. He drove me all the way around the marshes, and we managed to find the STONEMAN, which was a big, it's like a treasure hunt.
I didn't realise.
It was fabulous. I actually lay with the STONEMAN. I thought, it's crazy, but he will tell me a story, and then I will, as soon as I lie with him, I will think of something, and that's exactly what happened. So yeah,
amazing.
It was about a week and a half until I got the story done. I needed cutting a lot, yeah, then I just made all the models. I use polymer clay, which is FIMO, so you can bake it in the oven. But I use interchangeable eyes and flexible joints, so I can move arms or legs around as I need to. And it was during lockdown, which was really hard because I had to homeschool my children. So the only opportunity I had at the time was to shoot at night. So I homeschooled the kids during the day and then shot at night. So I had, I think it was 1.5 weeks of thoroughly working through the night and shooting all the different footage. And that excludes the footage that we took, the real footage outside. So I built, my entire hall was 2 sets. So one of the undersea world where the sea witch had her cage, and then another set of the beach and the shingles and the pier. So yeah, it was a steep learning curve. For me, the actual making process was not so difficult. For me, the editing process is the one where I struggle with. So this is where I'm totally out of my depth. So given that this is only the second animation I've made, I'm really pleased with how it's turned out. So yeah, editing, because it was, I always plan in a week where everything can go tits up, and it was literally like that. My laptop died, it couldn't deal with the files, so I had to find friends, and with lockdown, and it was horrendous. But yeah, I'm really chuffed with how it's turned out in the end. So, yeah.
Well done, congratulations. I just want to say thank you to Claire, who's been putting some very helpful little notes there about the lottery funding. Thank you, Claire. Very much appreciate you being here today.
Jo, can I have a quick...
I know you've got to head off, and I guess everybody's got to be...
Hi, Jo. Can I say a quick word as well? You would have heard Fifth Continent mention on there. I'd just like to thank Sarah and Ed for initially bringing the project to me.
I'm the scheme manager for that project, and we're Heritage Lottery funded. But it's fantastic we've been able to use lottery funds to be able to give people a platform to be able to support. And again, for the work that yourself, Joe and Darianne have done at Screen South, and John as well. It's been brilliant for me to see, and congratulations to all the finalists, but everybody that took part. The films are amazing. So as a scheme, so just really to say that the money that National Lottery got, it enables us to pay for projects like this, which is great. So thank you to anybody that's on the call that is a lottery player, but also anybody that you know, please let them know that
I won £100 last week.
Fabulous. But the money that comes to the lottery, it enables us to sort of support projects like this. So that's brilliant. Thank you very much, and thanks Claire for being on the call as well. But thank you for everybody that's been involved in it.
And I'll say, Dawn, you've got a very open heart about projects when people come to you. You're very supportive. So thank you.
Yeah, it's those opportunities, and if we are unable to give people opportunity, then it's actually what our scheme's about, is being able to connect community, get people to look at the landscape, restore the landscape, and the films out there will just give people another way of looking at Romney Marsh, and as Gabriella says, it makes her want to go there.
Yeah, well, yeah, it does, absolutely. It's a magical place, guys. Sarah and Ed, would you like to, I've just realised the time, it's nearly 22 and people are probably getting ready for their lunch. Because you know me, I'll talk all day. So I just wanted to say thank you to Ed and Sarah. Would you like to just take the closing remarks?
Thanks, Joe. And thank you and your team for us through what was actually quite a scary process for us, because we'd never done anything really in film. You know, we're a multi-arts festival, and as I mentioned earlier, Sharon, who was working with us back then, came up with the idea of having a real film sort of angle, and thankfully we fell upon like-minded and open-eared people like yourself at Screen South. So thank you for guiding us through this different, and particularly this year with the COVID and all the problems that brings.
Yeah.
So thank you. I think I've said it all really. I just really appreciate everybody that has worked not only on their own films, but in the background, making this whole project happen and bringing it to a conclusion in this difficult year. So really, I think from Jam, I'd like to say thank you. And I'd really like to emphasize the fact that next year, God willing and COVID willing and all the rest of it, we will be running a short film project again. And hopefully that can take the path that it maybe should have done this year, so that we could all be together today watching these films at Cinemarsh, etc. So please, all you filmmakers out there, please keep looking at the Jam site and the Screen South site, and there will be a part 2, and I hope you'll all be part of it. But really all I'm saying is thank you everyone. It's been a fantastic journey. Thank you so much.
And there we go, just to be reminded, the winner today, Karina Lewis and her fabulous Stoneman. Congratulations, and congratulations to all the runners up too.